So anyway, hello. So tell me again, Jace?
So we have.
It might be easier for Francis to like read it if like people are responding to stuff. Questions.
Yeah.
But it's Mari or Ray?
So Emmy's mom, I think.
Yeah. So.
And then you wanted to wait a few more minutes?
Yeah, we're waiting for our husband to come back. And then we can start.
Okay.
But that's what I said right now. And if anybody has any questions, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Read them all.
But somebody asked about the Christmas tree.
Yeah, so her question was, can I see what you guys did with the tree?
So what we did, this is a toy from the drugstore, and it was a type of toy where you squeeze the foot. And so we went in and adapted it for a switch. We put a soldered little plug on it, and that allows us to plug any of the switches in. And so this is a very small light touch switch that some of the kids use who don't have much movement or very, very small movements. And so when I click the switch, this goes. Okay. So anyway, when they click it again, it goes off. And so some of these toys are really fun that have like a lot of noise and lights to it. Kids, like many kids, need that kind of feedback. So for some of the toys, yeah. Shh. Let me turn this off. There. Let's sit right there. So for some of the toys that have little squeeze buttons in them, those are easier to access, to adapt for a switch. And so what we ended up having to do, sorry, the switch is really light touch. What we end up doing is we go inside of it and solder a little plug on it. And so we could certainly, if people were to bring their toys in, we could certainly do that. But it's got to be just a simple squeeze button. That's okay. And that was like from Dwayne Reed or something. It is very cute. We'll have to listen to the whole thing go if we do this right now. Okay. All right. Start?
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. All right, cool. Well, we're just going to talk about finding accessible gifts because we know a lot of times people don't know what to get to our kids and they get things maybe that the kids can't use by themselves. And so these are just some examples on the show here about toys and things you can get for kids for the holiday that they can do by themselves and use. So we'll just look a little bit at switches, mounts, talk about what those are, talk about some devices and show some more toys. I'll also show some software for the computer activities. So switches, a lot of our kids are using switches, and these are just like little buttons, big buttons, little buttons that they touch to make something happen. So if kids can't use their hands well, they'll use like a switch by their head, even by their elbow, by their foot, whatever's easiest. And then this plugs in to something. This plugs into the computer, it might plug into a communication device, and it allows them to be in charge. Like especially important when kids can't use their hands really well, this gives them a way to do something on their own. So we're going to look at what we plug these into. Lots of different types of switches. Round switches like this, little teeny switches. We even have an eye blink switch where you look at it on the glasses and the kid blinks and it makes a click. This is an example of another type of switch. This is a toggle switch, right? So these all do the same thing. You plug it into the computer or whatever to do something and they all make it happen. The switches just come in different shapes and sizes and you pick it based on your kid's needs. But talk to your therapist about the types of switches your kids are using and they can help you choose one if you wanted to buy one for home. There's some switches that we have that you don't even need to touch. Like this is what they call kind of like a sensor proximity switch, and all you have to do is put your hand near it and then it goes. So it's really important to choose the switch that your kid can do the easiest or has the most potential to learn. So that's a little bit about switches. If you're going to use a switch, the other thing you might need to think about is a mount. And a mount is very simply something that holds the switch in the right position. So this is an example of a mount. All this really is just camera equipment. It's a bendable arm, and the switch is at the end. And so this can attach to a desk. This can attach to the side of a wheelchair. This can attach to a table leg or a headboard in a bed. And what happens is you put it where you want it, and then you screw this and lock it into place. And then it doesn't move. But the whole point is, like for Adrian has 2 of these on his wheelchair. We put one by his head, and we put it on the back of the wheelchair. We attached it there, and then we lock it into place, and then he can just hit it whenever he wants. And because it's set there, he's remembered it. He's learned that it's there. The other switch that we put on him was by his forearm. So we attached it to the side of his chair, and we have it placed over his arm, so he does that. So he's gotten really good at this. He really has. So there's lots of different types of mounts. We do happen to have extra mounts here. We got a donation of 100 of these mounts. And so we do have some for people to take home for like over vacation. But basically these are camera mounts. That's all. Another type of mount that we use is this stuff called lock line. And this is bendable tubing. And so you put the switch on the end, and you attach this again to like a table, a chair, a bed, a wheelchair, and then you position the switch wherever you want it. It could be by a head, it could be by like an arm, wherever the kid needs it. So this is called lock line. Again, we have some of this that people want to look at. Talk to your therapist and ask them what they suggest, because they know what they've tried with your kid. The other thing I just wanted to show, this is an iPad holder. And some of you have iPads that you're using with kids. And so this is a holder for the floor, right? This is not going to do the big iPads, but it will do the smaller ones. So that way, if you're on the floor hanging out, you can have the iPad positioned so they can see it. And so this is from Modular Hose. This is a cheap lock line iPad stand. So that's just a little bit about mounts. So using a switch, usually you have some kind of mount. The mount, again, is helpful to keep the switch in place. So that way the kid can just easily click on it. They're not trying to find it, reach for it with their hand. It always stays in the same location. So some of these attach fine to like strollers or beds. It just depends where you want them to use them. So I'm just going to show you a communication device, which is really fun. This is so we'll talk a little bit about possible gift. That's an AAC communication device. This is called a step-by-step. There's only one button on this, and so you can only say one thing at a time. So this is not like a robust, comprehensive communication device. This is kind of a supplement. This is something you'd use in addition to the big device. And so this is called the step-by-step, and you can record multiple messages on it. So watch this. I'm going to record A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? So watch what happens now.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
So it steps through the messages that you record in a sequence. So what's nice here is that if you have the whole alphabet in the song, they can practice the song and say it themselves, right? And that's so important because kids do that all the time. Kids who talk, they repeat things all the time. They recite the songs and the chants, and that's one of the ways they learn it. So you can also plug a switch into this, because a lot of the kids that we work with can't use their hands to get to one of these. So we would plug their switch into it.
E, F, G.
Right? So like Adrian, I don't put that by his head. There's no way I can't put this big thing by his head. So we'll plug his head switch into this.
H, I, J, K.
Okay? Does that make sense?
P.
And so the step-by-step is so much fun. Here's the one that in the high school classroom, Eileen's classroom, they have been on like a joke rant. They're just hilarious. So we got knock, knock, Calp. Made you say it. So watch, do this with me.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Cat.
How? Who?
Say
Cowboo! So you could have the whole side of a knock knock joke on this. And then what happens when you get to the end, it starts over. And then you do it to somebody else, right? So this is such a fun interactive thing for families to do at home. So you could do lines of a song on here. Like you could have lines for the Moana song. And then each time they click, they go to the next line. Jokes. What we like to do are these things called social strips. And this would be super fun for the holidays. So you could set up basically the kids' conversation, their side of the conversation on here. And so it would be something like, hey, got a minute? What did you do last weekend? Interesting. I'm going on vacation ever. So what that kid would do, I'm going to talk to you now, be the kid.
Hey, got a minute? What did you do last weekend?
Right? And then the person would talk, and then the kid says,
Interesting.
right? So it's kind of having their side of the conversation on here. So you could have, like, when people come over for the holidays, they could have something on here. I mean, let's do a better job this time. Welcome to our party. Follow me. I'll show you where to put your coat. Did you bring a present for me?
Very cute.
How about something to eat? Come into the kitchen. Okay, I got to go to the front door and greet my other guests. That's it.
Very cute.
Welcome to our party.
I can just see like Esty doing this, you know?
Follow me. I'll show you where to put your coat. Did you bring a present for me?
Right, and so it's getting the other person to talk. It's not just the kid doing the whole thing. They're learning how to have a conversation. And so this does not replace a communication device that they're going to get, right? These guys are working on solid communication device with lots of vocabulary on it with the speech paths, with all sorts, hundreds of words on it. This does not replace that. This is a supplement. This is like, this helps them communicate like immediately. And if it's an accident, it doesn't matter. Kids don't have to have the knowledge or mastery to use one of these things. They're going to learn how to use it by having those conversations with people. Yeah. What else? So here's just some other things you could do with this. Saying lines of poems, saying lines of songs, commenting during books. So we do lots and lots of book reading, and I know all parents usually do. And so we'll put comments on here like, act it out. Sing that. Say it in a different voice. What's that? And so you could be reading to your kid, and they might be like,
Act it out.
and then you've got to get up and act it out.
Sing that.
And then you have to sing the line to that page.
Say it in a different voice.
Say it in a different voice, right? So you have to do all those things. And during a reading activity, it doesn't matter, right? You want to have fun during a reading activity. And so this would be a way to kind of spice it up a little bit, you know? So the step-by-steps, they are $165, but they're just so worth it. And you have like, I think 75 seconds of time that you can record on here. Yeah. Let's see. And again, whatever switch they're using can be plugged in here to make it easier for them. So for Adrian, what we usually do is he just has his switches on in his chair, and then we'll just plug it into this. So it's like next to him on the lap track. Yeah. And so that's the step-by-step. And I actually have a handout, Francis, that called 101 Ways to use the step-by-step. Actually, we have used it for a fart script before. Yeah, so we do a lot of practical jokes here.
Oh, boy.
And let's see if this guy is not going to work. No, he's not working.
I saw it on the,
It needs new batteries, sorry, but here's the fart machine. It's a switch adapted fart machine. And so what we'll do is on the step-by-step
partly love that.
is like,
That's actually
back on.
Partly love that.
Hey, did you hear something?
These parts are so funny.
What was that? I think that was coming from over there. Ew, was that you? Right, so kids use this. They use the step-by-step.
Hey, did you hear something?
And they'd be using this over here. So they put the fart machine under someone's chair, and they'd use a switch for this, Not the batteries are done. Sorry, you guys. It's farting right now, right?
Yeah.
And then, right? So they're running the fart machine with one switch and then doing this.
I think that was coming
The other
over there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So they're really pranking somebody. I need to put new batteries in that. So, but you plug the switch into this, so they're using one switch to do the joke, and then the other switch to talk to the person and accuse them of being farting. Yeah. So it's just trying to make it fun, you know, and do what like kids do, like to play jokes. And especially with this is one thing the adult doesn't know, right? And the kid's in control. And it's like when we did it in the high school classroom the other day when Adrian did it, we put it right under someone's chair. We didn't say a thing.
Yeah.
And so he could hear it, right? I don't know what he could see in terms of it, but he heard it, and he heard everybody respond. Everybody respond. And then with his other switch, he's like, "Ew, what was that?" And then the teacher, the reaction that he got was like Eileen and Axel, and they're like, "Oh!" It's a huge, huge ordeal. Oh my God, it was great. We were saying that it's going to be ugly here on April Fool's Day,
Oh, yeah.
just because like all the jokes, just like Eileen is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be prank joke city next to here. In terms of playing games, just, you know, people, you know, maybe your family, you guys like to play games together. Here's a switch adapted dice roller and a switch adapted card shuffler. Now these have already been adapted by this company, Adaptive Tech Solutions. And I know it's a lot of money, but compared to all the other stuff that's out there, this is cheap. So this one's 33, this one's 38. These are harder to adapt, like for us to do it on the fly. These would be ones that we would suggest purchasing. We do have one of these if you wanted to look at it. It's not huge, but if people have vision issues, it wouldn't be the best solution, but it does make a nice rattling noise. And then, you know, it's not that they've got to see it. I mean, if you guys are playing a game as a family and the kid's in charge of rolling the dice, it's their job. They hear it go off and everybody's looking at the dice to see what numbers they got. So in some cases, some kids don't even care. They can't see it. It's all about the interactions. You know, it's that game, you know. We got basic moving toys. These are those little walking toys that you see. And here's a little video of one so you can see what it looks like. And you see it moves. And so when you hold the switch down, it walks. It's a moving toy. And so we happen to have one here. This is actually what I want to point out. This is another switch. This is a different switch. This is a little teeny spec switch. Just showing there's lots of different switches on the market. So he's gonna walk. So I'm just gonna put him down right here. Yeah, I can't, sorry you guys, you can't see it. See, he walks. This is not the best surface for him to walk it on because he's got no traction, but on the carpet, he'd be fine. So this walks. And so, you know, these are fun, but after like a minute, our kids are gonna be like, okay, done. So what you wanna do is we'll use this as part of the game. So we might use this to bowl. We might put little blocks up and the dog's gotta walk into the blocks or bowling pins. Or we've attached a little strap around it and put a cup on it and it carries things. Right, so it's part of something. The activity's just not turning on off. We put a little envelope there and it can carry secret messages. We put a marker on him and set him on a piece of paper, and then he walks and draws a line on the paper. So they can be fun. So, you know, think about that. If you're going to get one of those, there's a lot of different things you can do with it besides just turning it on and off. And we got a handout for that. So that's your walking toy. You can buy these at this online at this Adaptive Tech Solutions. This is a good company, Adaptive Tech Solutions. They do stuff more cheaper than the other companies. But for this particular toy, I think I'm jumping ahead. For this particular toy, you don't have to buy it from that company. You can buy it and we would put a battery interrupter in it. So this is a type of toy that we could help you with here. And I'm going to show you a picture of that in a minute. So for some of these, I should back up. So for some of these toys, you can buy them already adapted. And for some of them, we can help you adapt it. So here's just the information that I was talking about. If you get a walking toy, here are other fun things you can do with it. Because kids will get tired of just turning it on and off. So there's that. So here's a talking toy. This is more expensive, but this is one that, this is talks. It does nursery rhymes. This is a talking Elmo. So that's been switch adapted. So when the kid hits the switch, that goes on. Okay.
Can you do, if we got something like this that's not switch adapted, can it be adapted?
It depends what it is. And that's the tough part. So there's two things here. To be adapted, like with let me take this out. This is called a battery interrupter. This thing right here. It's got like a little coin on the end. It's a piece of copper and a plug on the other end. And what happens for this, it just basically interrupts the circuit. It goes inside the battery compartment and it interrupts the circuit and it moves the on switch to there. So whatever the switch is plugged in here, that's the on off button then. So it's called an interrupter and you can buy these for $13 or we could make them and then they go in here. They go inside here. The only thing is for those kinds of toys, it has to have an on off button on it like this.
Okay.
Right? It has to have an on off button like this and it's got to be a toy when you press the on button, it goes. If it's like one of the push button toys where you just push it once and it pops up, it's not going to work for that.
But it has to have an on-off.
A clear on-off button, a
Okay.
very clear on-off button, right? And so the battery interrupters, you can buy these for $13 from Adaptive Tech Solutions. And then we have the ability to make some smaller ones, but not the big ones. So they make different sizes. This is one that's set for like a C battery or D battery. And then they make smaller ones that are set for like AA. Yeah. Yeah. So like here's a smaller one that's been set for AA. So you can see the difference in the sizes. So the battery interrupter is key, but it will only work with toys that have a definite on-off position. Like, I'm going to show you. Like for the fart machine, we can't put a battery interrupter in here and have it work. This is a different type of toy. So we had to like go in and solder directly inside the panel. So this is a different type of toy adaptation. For this toy, so this had the little squeeze button in it, the press me button. And so that one we could do, but that's not a battery interrupter. That's like, let's open this up, do surgery and cut the wires and solder this on. So this is possible. Yeah. Yeah. But the one thing about the battery interrupter is that you can buy that and buy a toy that has an on-off button like that, and you can do it yourself. Because the one, like this toy, this is $39, right? It's just your basic walking toy with the battery interrupter. So you could save money. You might be able to find one of these toys on sale for, $10. Right. I get a lot of stuff at CVS.
Yeah.
Maybe we used to have stuff, but not as much anymore. Yeah. Like this is $68. It's a lot of money. I'm not sure how they did that one, but that's just a lot of money.
Sometimes those come with a little push button, and then.
If that was like a squeeze button, then that would be possible to do.
Oh, okay, but it has to be a squeeze button.
Yeah, like the press it's good or something.
Yeah,
That would be
okay.
possible. to do. Actually,
Holiday toys
Tova.
that they have,
Yeah.
like the holiday toys that
Yeah.
they might not have seen.
Right.
yeah,
Press like the hand.
Would it the hand?
Yes.
It's the same thing.
that's one we could do. That's one we could do.
Gotcha.
So like Tova, I mean, it's always a little bit of a risk, I will say. Like Tova bought this really nice birthday bear, which sings happy birthday. And it was a squeeze the paw thing. And she bought that for Thomas. And we adapted it for a switch. And so he hit the switch and it sang happy birthday.
Oh, nice.
And like the candle went on and stuff. It was so cool.
Oh, very
And it worked. But there's always a little bit of a risk that when you open it up, it's like, uh-oh, it's not what we thought. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. But so anyway, this was pretty cool. This is a wireless switch adapted train which blows smoke. So I'm not quite sure how they did that. I mean, they had a remote control. Like this is something that's harder to do. They opened up a remote control and they made little plugs for the switches. But this isn't, $65. That would be interesting. Bubble blowers. Those are fun. We can set those up for switches. But again, this could be a good family game where, if you've got a bunch of siblings, they could play it with each other. Your kid could be making the bubbles blow and all the siblings are trying to get the bubbles or something like that. So bubble blower, pie in the face. This is very expensive, but I just wanted to show it to you. This is a switch adapted pie in the face so that, the person puts their head there and the kid hits the switch and eventually the person gets the whipped cream in the face. It's really fun. We did it for the Special Olympics and it was great. We have it here. So kids use it here, but I'm just showing it to the parents at home so they know the kind of work kids are doing at school here. Yeah, very motivating, very motivating. Switch accessible squirt gun. This is great for the summer.
Yeah.
And we use this at the Olympics. This is again from this Adaptive Tech Solutions store. So they got a super soaker and then they open it up and solder it on first.
What are those?
Super soaker for like $62.
For what it does?
Oh, it's a squirt
It's just
gun.
water.
Oh, just one.
It's a big one.
Okay.
Yeah, big one. I don't think Adrian used that. I don't think he had started yet because we did it at the Special Olympics. No. What we were using this Special Olympics. We put up shaving cream up on plates on the wall, and then they had to use the button to make the water go to spray the shaving cream down.
Oh, cute.
And so they had like a target, Yeah. And here's information about the battery interrupter. Again, it just needs to be, here they are, and these are the pictures. You can buy them or we can make them. The toy needs to be in the on-off position to have one of these work with it. And it goes inside the battery compartment on a toy. Yeah. And so like we've done that with spin art. So each classroom has spin art. You guys know battery operated spin art. So what we've done is we put a battery interrupter inside each spin art. So now kids can do their own art with a switch. And that was, just as
And this is adapted?
Yeah.
It comes that way?
No, this one does not come this way. Yeah, this
Okay.
is just like your basic spin art off of Amazon for like $12. And then we got the battery interrupter separate and then put it in.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
actually we make some of our own.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, and so each classroom has one of these because our kids have to have a way to do art besides everybody doing hand over hand with them to color and stuff. So this is a way for them to choose their colors and then spin it.
Is that with paint or is
Yeah.
it with,
Comes with paints, yeah.
Comes with paint.
Yeah, you put the paper in the middle and then you drip the paint on it and then it spins
Oh,
around.
that's
Yeah,
so cool.
it's very fun. But each classroom does have that. We set it up so each classroom has some basic art tools like switch adapted spin art, switch adapted battery scissors, just your basics. But anyway, that's the battery interrupter. Here's the ball thrower. This is a great example of something off of Amazon that we adapted with a battery interrupter. Jen Hensley, who's an amazing OT, found this. So it's just a battery operated ball thrower. We got a battery interrupter, put it inside of it, and then you want to do the honors? Here, you go ahead and do it. Okay. You plug it in.
It's
I'm going
not
to shoot it that way. Yeah. So now go ahead and try it. Oh, it's not working. You know why?
They're not turned on.
Exactly. So this thing needs to be in the on position. Yeah? Oh, we got to hold it down a little longer. Yeah. There you go.
Nice.
See? Yeah? Okay. All right. All right.
We did get a question from a parent.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
They're asking, once the interrupter is connected to a toy, can it be removed and used on another toy?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question. Yeah. Yes, you can. And, you can, you don't want if you're going to be changing it around a lot, I don't think it's a good idea. But if you're going to do it a couple times, that's fine. Because some of those things are flimsy. And if you bend the wire too many times, it'll eventually break. But it's okay to do a little bit. But I wouldn't be doing it a lot just because of the stress on the wire. But yeah, you could do it some.
My daughter was just asking if someone got the squirt gun, could it be used for paint instead of water?
That's a great idea. I think maybe colored water.
Colored
Because
water.
once it's in, I mean, it's a regular squirt gun, so, but I think colored water would be cool if you added dye.
Got it.
And they could do some paint, you could do some
Oh, yeah,
painting.
that's what I was-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great question. It's a great question. Yeah. And I think, for like making, for art would be great. They had color, do you like watercolor?
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
It
It was such a good idea.
Yeah. So this, Jen Hensley found this one. It's just such a great find. And there's other toys like we talked about, the battery interrupter and like the squeeze handles, toys. And this is like another way to adapt the toy. This is when we actually open it and solder on it, like we did the Christmas tree. Yeah. Just a little bit about the computer. Let's see if I'm looking around to see what else I have. Oh, here. Before I move on to the computer, here's something that's not in the presentation. This is a going fishing game. And we just set it up for a switch with a little plate on it. So you can have choices of things on the plate. And then the kid stops the plate when what they want is underneath it. So it's like, this is kind of like their finger. And then they turn it around with their switch. And, I want a pom-pom. I'm going to stop there. So they can have little parts, like little cars, little parts of Mr. Potato Head.
So they can choose.
They can choose, yeah. So the other thing I want to talk about now is the computer access. So there's a lot of different things the kids can do on the computer. And so to do that, they need a computer interface. And so each classroom has one of these on their main computer. And all it is, it's a box that plugs in and it allows you to put those switches into it. That's all it is. There's no software required. And this basically gives you the ability to turn your switch into a click, a mouse click. So the kid could be working on the computer with you. They could be turning pages in a library book. So Adrian likes some of these books. There's lots of books in the public library that talk and have animation on them that he really likes. And so he'll use a switch to turn a page in a book.
There's
He's very good at this.
there are books in the library, the computer. There are books on the computer
Yeah.
that they can turn pages.
They're both, but
Oh,
yes.
both.
So you can just plug this in. Actually, watch. So this is PowerPoint that I have set up.
Oh,
Right?
Gotcha.
Right? And so this is a whole other thing, like PowerPoint books we use a lot, and it's something you guys will be able to use at home totally. But you need a switch interface for them to do this.
PowerPoint.
Yeah. So, but for games, this is a good thing. There's games they can play on the computer. There's books that they can play on the computer. Here are some websites that we use. These are all online switch activities. But to do these things, you need a computer switch interface. This is the kind of thing, if you're interested, you should come in and look at these with your therapist and have them show you what the kid likes. Here's an example of an activity from Help Kids Learn. And so Adrian has actually done this. And so you use one switch to build a rocket, and then the second switch to put the astronaut in the rocket. Right? So we're talking about games that they can do, that are interesting. This is another type of software called from Judy Lynn called Animated Toys. And you can see it's just so clean. So for kids with vision issues, it's really simple. And so all it is when they click the switch, like this car is going to move. When they click the switch, all the bottles are going to fall into the garbage can. And so it's just these animated toy software. It's just a series of different toys. It's not the same thing over and over. And there's a lot of fun noises.
Do you know if these will work with like a Toby Dime box?
These will work on yes, because the Toby is basically a PC computer, Windows computer. So you need to download it, and you can just plug this in to the Toby. Because it's basically a computer. Is your kid using eye gaze or what are you using?
Arthur,
Oh, he's using his hands.
Using his hands, my grandson.
Yes,
His hands,
you
yeah.
could do that. So you can just use, so this is Switch software.
Yeah, this Toby Box used to be, we used to have the where you pay the fee to
Yeah.
to where you can like down, you can open up for like YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
But when they sent it in for repair, because he broke the screen, it's not open
You know-
anymore. So now we have to pay. I think we have to pay for it.
You know what I would do? If it's possible, I would put the games on the PC computer and then he can use his device to talk about it with.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because that way they can talk about the game, they could ask for more, they could say funny, like, stop, they could say any of those things. So it might
I
be,
need to find out if he's using the Toby Box here with a Switch.
he's not, he's using his hands.
He is.
Yeah.
He doesn't really use it at home. He just
He's-
turns it over.
You gotta talk to Jackie.
Okay.
He's an amazing kid. He's so cool.
He's hilarious.
If you want to borrow any of these, we've got a couple loaners. If you're not sure about this, we've got a couple loaners that you can use over Christmas. They're around $100. But if you're interested in this, download this. You can look at all. There's lots of different games, but you can download. You get 10 free trials.
So
Download it. It's PC only. You can't do it no matter.
Gotcha.
So I just want to say really quickly that your PowerPoint presentation will be emailed to all.
Oh, so you'll have all this. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
so I'm gonna email this along with
Yeah.
that list that you created with all
Okay.
the gift ideas.
Yeah.
I'll be emailing it tomorrow, parents. Be on the lookout.
Yay.
Here are just some more examples of some Switch software. This one is for bowling and baseball. Kind of fun, Switch and Time software. And I haven't used this yet, but this is like new. This is like came out, I think like 2 or 3 months ago. This is for gaming,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So this is a big deal. I haven't used these, but I've seen videos and like hearing things, and it just seems like this would be so cool. So, here's the little gaming box, and on the back of the gaming box, these are all holes to plug your switches into. So your Switch, you can have it be whatever you want on the game box.
Wow.
So it depends what the game is, or it depends if you're doing siblings, what you want your kid to do with the Switch.
Mhm.
So isn't that cool?
That's really cool.
I haven't tried it yet. I'm dying to try it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah, so
interesting.
that's new. So whoever buys this has to do a workshop. Has to
Right.
bring it here and show all of it, everybody else. The Switch adapted port cup, a little pricey, but really, really fun. This is really just a Switch adapted, it's a port cup. So you just plug it in, and I'm using my head switch. Do you see the cup moving?
Yeah.
And so what would happen is I would have a bowl right underneath it, and the kid can measure out stuff and pour it into the bowl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You could do that for painting also.
That's right.
Like
Yes.
Before.
Yes, you could have paint in here, and then underneath it for a second switch, you have spinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so you could roll dice with this. They could pour the dice out.
Oh, that's cute.
I've had parents set up chores for their kids. So like they're in charge of watering the plants, feeding the pet, like whether it's pet food or dog food, rolling dice during games. There were a couple other things I can't remember. But this one mom had like 4 chores the kid had to do that they were responsible for. It was great. And then I think they did an allowance thing after that. But she was like, every Saturday, it's your job to do these things. And then you can control, it is pricey. We were just talking about, this is the Switch Adaptive Core Cup, and have some of the kids have had like chores. They're responsible for watering the plants. What else did I say? Feeding the dog,
yeah.
feeding goldfish, yeah. This one is on a gooseneck, so you can clamp it onto a table and position it over whatever you're working on. They were doing this whole thing with grinding coffee, Jen and all the OTs, where the kids were grinding the coffee and then having to pour the coffee into all the different cups and stuff.
Cute. Arthur can make coffee in the morning.
There you go. Right? So it is pricey, but then there's also one without the gooseneck, and that's cheaper.
Oh, interesting.
But it is, And I don't know any other company that makes that.
Yeah.
And you can control the speed and, yeah. So we're talking about appliances here. There's this other thing called the Power Link. All this does is allows you to run appliances with a switch. So what happens is you plug something in like a blender or a light into here, and then you plug the kid's switch into one side of it, and then when they hit the switch, it goes on.
So they can turn their lights on.
They can turn the lights on and off, they can do the blender, they can help with the mixing. So any electrical appliance, but it's gotta be an appliance that has like an on button. You push, like on the blender, you push the button down, the grind button down, and it stays. Plug it in here, and the kid hits the switch and it blends. They do a lot of the blender here. They do a lot mixing. Like when they're cooking, the kids will be in charge of turning the mixer on. They'll be in charge of turning the grinder on. I know one of the kids I worked with in Arizona had all the chores. One of her chores, I'm remembering it, was to help mother vacuum. She was in charge of turning the vacuum on and have the vacuum going here. Yeah. But it's got to be an appliance that has like a definitive on-off button, same as like the toys. So yeah, so there's like so many uses for this. Many uses. But check eBay. This is pricey, but I have friends who found these for sale on eBay. I think somebody bought one for like $50 on eBay. And this would be worth it. This would be worth it. And it has a timed feature so that like if you're doing the lights, like this is how we're gonna do the Christmas lights next week. We're gonna have the kids turn the Christmas lights on and off. And so there's a bunch of different modes where they're gonna be able to do that with. Yeah. Let's see. Home
Can you turn the
controls.
TV on and off with that?
No,
No.
you can't, because no, that's not gonna work because you need a definitive on-off button.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a tougher one. Yeah. But speaking of the TV, here's some adapted TV remotes that are switch accessible, and actually here's one for kids who can use their hands but maybe not as accurately. And so for this one, you plug the switches into the side. So if you plug in here, it turns the TV on and off. If you plug in here, it does, I can't see, channel up, channel down, volume up, volume down.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do it with that, but you couldn't do it with that.
Mm-hmm.
So here's just a couple versions of it. Before you buy any of these, you have to make sure it goes with your TV set. Because you know how like you get cable boxes and satellite TV and stuff, you gotta make sure they're gonna work together. Alexa, we're doing stuff with Alexa now. So if you have kids who have their communication device, you can have commands programmed on the device. Like Jackie has done that with other kids where she's made an Alexa page for her kids. And it'll be like, this is for kids who have an AAC device. And one of the buttons might be, Alexa, tell me a knock-knock joke. Or Alexa, sing happy birthday. Or Alexa, play a song. Or Alexa, play Moana.
Where we gotta record it for them.
Yeah, you record it on their communication device.
Mhm.
You might have an Alexa page.
Alexa,
Yeah.
play Daniel Tiger.
Yep, exactly. So if that's really motivating to him, you could have her look at programming an Alexa page for him.
We don't have one, but I've been thinking about it.
Well, here would be you know what? You should talk to me because they have one in the speech department. And so you could try it before you buy it. Whenever you guys can, try it before you buy it. Because the last thing we want you to end up with is like stuff that doesn't work. Or that is no fun it doesn't actually work for your house for some reason. It doesn't fit the environment. So yeah, ask Jackie and see the one in there.
Alexa, call mom. Alexa, call grandma.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
There
right,
you go.
Because he likes to talk on the phone. So, like, he likes to video chat with people. Because he likes to have the phone. So,
Sure.
And I don't like to
Sure.
give him the phone. So that would be interesting to let him be able to call people
That's very
without
cool.
physically having my
That's
phone.
very cool.
Yeah. So,
Very cool.
very interesting. Okay.
I'm just thinking about Adrian.
Yeah,
I wanna-
I was gonna ask you, given that he only uses the head and the hands and arms a little bit, what are the toys that, do I have to speak with the therapy to see what toys he probably need at home?
You could ask them and see what else he's been using, but I think stuff that makes noise and moves
Okay,
is fun for him, I think. And I think the step-by-step, you should talk to Rebecca about that. I feel like this would be a really
Yeah,
useful thing
definitely.
for him. Very useful.
Yeah.
So like during group reading activities, I've put 2 of these on his wheelchair. One that goes
you
with his
using that
head.
one already?
He's used 2. Yeah.
Oh.
So we go to these group reading activities, and on one, I have like, that's so funny. That's crazy.
That's so funny.
So on his head switch, I have this plugged in.
That's crazy.
Right? So I have one set of comments plugged in there,
That's so
and then
funny.
a second one with other comments plugged into the hand switch.
Mhm.
And so during the reading activities, he'll be like,
That's crazy.
and then he'll comment, he would do that with the other hand.
Okay.
So he was on it. He's totally on it. He loves the shared reading activities. Yeah.
I wanna check it out.
Yeah. So see about, talk to Rebecca. Rebecca works with him, and ask her about Monday getting one of these for him. I think that would be really good. And then I think in terms of, I was wondering about these with him. I don't know, because the vision is so, I mean, it's very clean in terms of his vision. I'm not sure. I mean, we could ask Shawnee too.
Yeah, we
How
can
much-
checking with the doctor to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
if he's saying no or no.
And the other thing is too, if he doesn't matter if he doesn't see it as long as he hears something.
Mm.
That's interesting. Yeah. Do you have PowerPoint at home? Do you have like, is he using a computer? Is there a
Yeah,
computer
we
at
have a
home?
computer, we have PowerPoint, yeah.
So I'm gonna show you something here.
You're talking about desktop computer, right?
But is there a PowerPoint he could access?
Mhm.
Yeah. So here's what, I haven't done this with him yet, but I've done.
Holiday music playlist.
So this is PowerPoint, and I'm gonna use a computer switch interface for this. And because a lot of our kids have vision issues, we do a lot with music in PowerPoint. So I'm gonna plug a switch into this. And I'm just gonna do this. Okay, so each page
Is a different song.
is a different song.
Oh.
Okay. Goes to a different one. Now this is something he can do. With his favorite stuff, he could do this. This would be a good thing for him.
So I will need the switch, I will need the interface, and I will need the computer.
Yeah,
And then a big screen.
yeah.
And
Or if he doesn't have to look at it, he can listen to it here, right? Because it's music. But we've made a bunch of PowerPoints. And so I think, we're all about literacy for these guys, all about literacy. Because that's going to be the game changer for them, the ability to communicate and the ability to get somewhere with literacy. Everybody can get somewhere on the scale of literacy, everybody.
Mhm.
And so this is a way to bring them accessible books. And like PowerPoint is one thing that we use. And so you guys could use it too.
yeah,
I'm going to pull up the internet, okay, the library, and show you that, and then we'll close with that. But I'll show you what he's done. Go ahead. What were you going to ask?
yeah, I was gonna ask you, can I use a player on my cell phone for the sound for using the switch? I mean, using the switch to activate to play the song?
You can, there's an interface that you can use for your phone or iPad. It's a separate box. This is for computers. This guy's way ahead. Woo! This is for a computer. And then there's a separate box that's for the iPad and the iPhone. Yeah. Yeah. And that's like a whole other thing, like in terms of talking about like iPad apps, that would be interesting. So I'm going to show you, we're going to go on the public library. We have a library card and all the classrooms use this. So I'm going to go into Tumble Books. And there's a handout for this. So for you guys who are watching, there's an actual handout that walks you right through
I
this.
have a copy of it right now if you want to have it. If you want a copy.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. I don't,
Do you want me to be the one that you handed
I
out?
got it printed. No, it's a different handout. I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
planning on showing this, but since you're here and you're asking about Adrian,
Mhm.
and I think everybody else might.
If you want to print it out, make copies.
Okay, I'll do.
And parents, I'll send this in an email as well.
And this is this will be the, what are we getting for the Tumble books?
So this is, I'm just gonna show you So the New York Public Library has a bunch of different book subscriptions in it that are really powerful for our guys because they read the book to the kid. There's animation, and it's like children's literature. It's like fun stuff. And so Tumble Books is one of them. And like normally these are subscriptions that cost a lot of money. But if you've got a library card, we're good. Oh, here we go. So this is one of our favorite books. This is like some kids have read this still love it from last year. They read it all year. This is a great book. So what I'm going to do is set it up.
March 20th. Mom says there are 3 things I should always remember. 1. The earth gives us everything we need. 2. When we dig tunnels, we help take care of the earth. 3. Never bother Daddy when he's eating the newspaper.
So what I can do you see I put the cursor right here?
Mm-hmm.
What is this button doing?
It's like right now, it's
What is it going to be? What is its function?
next.
It's the next button. It's turn the page. I put the cursor there, and with the computer switch interface, I can be a mouse click. Something just happened here. So I can be the mouse click. I don't know why that's doing that. Pure browsing, press F7. I don't know why this is happening. Oh,
No, probably.
oh, because I have it plugged into the wrong thing. Oh. Okay. There.
March 29th.
Okay.
Today, I tried to teach Spider how to dig.
So all I did was use this box to turn my switch into a mouse click. And so now, wherever I put this on the screen, when the kid hits the switch, they're just going to click there. But see, like right there, there's nothing to click on. So you want the cursor on the place where the major action occurs. So this is a way that your kid can just read a book by themselves.
Then he swallowed a bunch of dirt.
Do you know if
Tomorrow he's gonna
you
teach
can
me
use
how.
a Brooklyn Public Library card with the same thing, or you need a New York Public Library card?
I don't know.
They're separate systems.
Yeah, they are. I don't know what the Brooklyn Library has. What we're using are we're using, it depends what your library has. What you're going to need to do is go to the Brooklyn website
And see if they have.
and look what they have. If you go to ebooks, this is what you want to do. You want to look for ebooks and audiobooks.
Okay.
That's where you want to go
Okay,
and see what they have for kids.
okay.
And so ebooks for kids, we have Tumble Books,
Gotcha.
Tumble Book Cloud Junior, and Bookflix. So all these 3 things we use. We mainly use Tumble Books and Bookflix. These other ones are for like big kids.
Gotcha.
But you need to see what Brooklyn has.
Yeah.
If not, with the handout that I gave you, it has the school library card on it. You just use that.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
this is like $600 for a subscription for like a year. It's crazy. And we're so lucky that our library has it already.
Mm-hmm.
So we just take advantage of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Adrian's like those, and he's also like the books from Bookflix too.
What is Bookflix?
Bookflix is kind of like Netflix.
Oh, amazing. Book for book.
But before I jump into that, I will tell you too, for any of these kids, they all like videos, right?
Yeah.
So if you go to YouTube and like Pete the Cat, a lot of them like Pete the Cat. So you can get any of the book videos. Now, we don't want these kids just sitting back and watching, right? So what do I need to click on to make this video go?
Play.
Right? So what we can do is set up the switch to be a mouse click.
Pink love his white big shoes so
Right?
much.
And so kids will do that. So they have some control over it.
Mm.
And so what we feel like is, sometimes kids just want to see the picture and stop and look at it, especially if they have a vision issue. So they need to be able to stop it as opposed to just going by, Somebody might come in the room that they want to see and they don't want to miss the video and they're turn it off, and then what? So
And then they can also use that to change to a different video or something.
they can't use that. This is just on off.
Oh, it's just
Yeah,
on
yeah.
and off. Okay.
But this is not, I'm just trying to show easy ways, quick ways, like doing videos, I like videos. So they can do the on off, the pause break of the video. Just again, thinking of Adrian, because he likes that. So Bookflix, I'll show that. So
Click
BookFlix
on a category
has
or
books in
click on the picture to begin.
books in pairs. They have categories. Categories. These are book categories. I'm trying to remember what book we did with Agent. I can't remember. But if we go to, he's done a bunch in here. So here are all the different. The books are grouped in themes. So like here's a group about Martin Luther King, and then one of the books is about Coretta. The other one's about Martin Luther. If I were to click on that, one of these books is a video book, and the other one is the actual book where you turn the pages. And so what it is, the intention is that build a little background knowledge watching the video, and then read a book, and it kind of all go together. So the kids turn the pages in these.
The Great Martin Luther King Jr. On the third Monday in January, we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.
So that's what that is.
It is a day to remember
Oh
how
my God,
Dr.
I'm gonna
King
switch that up
worked
here.
to make the world a place. On the third Monday in January, we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It is a day to remember how Dr. King
Okay.
worked to make the world
There's that
a better
one.
place.
And then there's watch the story. Oh, I haven't switched them. And then they just start and stop it. Same thing. Okay. And so there is a handout that goes with this that tells you how to use this. And then what I would do if you want to get one of these, come in and we'll practice using it. Come in.
Is there a way for them to change, is there a switch to be able to change like the selection also?
Not on this.
Not on that.
Not in this one, but on another website called Tar Heel Reader there is.
Okay.
Tar Heel Reader.
I was thinking specifically like YouTube. Is there a way to do that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So,
Like there's sometimes Arthur will get like if let's say if he's watching a video and then like another video just automatically cycles through, and then sometimes there'll be a video that he doesn't want to watch and he gets frustrated. So I'm just wondering if there's a way with the switches to allow him to be able to change to the
not on. It would need to be put in something else, like
Okay.
that music video, the
Oh,
PowerPoint.
yeah.
Those were all videos that were dropped into PowerPoint,
Okay.
so it could be.
So then he
Yeah.
gets changed.
Or you could use this communication device too and say, I don't want this anymore. Something else.
Mhm.
You can stop.
Right.
And he could even go to a page on this device to tell you what he doesn't want to watch.
Yeah, I
It sounds like he knows what he wants to do.
very much.
Um,
I think we need to come in so that we can work with each and
Oh, Jackie's wonderful.
and work
Yeah.
with him, to see how he's using the device in school because he's not really functionally using it at home. So I need to see how
You
he's.
Definitely need to come in. Yeah. Jackie's really good. I think, do you guys have any questions? Are there any? We went over, what we should do? We should have a book workshop.
Yeah.
Where we talk about like books and practice using them. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did get a question, but it's more along the lines of understanding how to use BookFlix from Ashley's mom. But I think that may be, she didn't understand really well like how to get into BookFlix, that's what it was.
Oh, got it. Okay. So what you're gonna do is go to you always start by going to your public library homepage. And this is all in that handout. There's a one-page handout. And then the first thing I do is click on books, music and movies. And then then I go to ebooks. And all the ebooks are here, even the ones for adults, and I just scroll down to get to ebooks for kids. And then you see Tumble Books, Junior, and then BookFlix. And there it asks you for your library card number, and this is on the handout. You're just gonna enter your library card number. And then there you're in. You can skip the intro here.
Click on a category. Or
And
click
so
on
each one of these is full of books. If I wanted to look at family books and community, I just click on that and here are all the books. So there's a lot to go through. A lot of books on this website.
And then you can click through.
Yeah, you click through the pages or stop and start the book video. So you guys could totally, we'll give you the library handout, the library book handout, and one of these. Borrow this from Adrian. And the thing is going to be trying to find books that they're interested in, because I know it took us a while to find stuff that Adrian is interested in. Because if he's not interested in it, it looks like he just can't do it. When in fact he's just not interested. So once you find the right book, kids are usually right there.
Have the handout that I can,
I'll print it right now.
yes, I could give it a note and.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and it's just about finding the right book. It's just we can't give up if they just don't want to do it. It's just that we haven't found the right book. You know. And it's just because I've heard people say, "Oh, they don't want to do it. They're not interested in books." And it's like, well, we just haven't found the right book yet.
Right.
You know. Gotta give these guys the opportunity to become literate. Okay. Handouts. We are covered on. And then right.
I know where you want me to.
On land, okay. Different.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So see, and this, it's just a one pager. And just, it gives you the steps that we just went through. So it's not, and then it gives the library card number. Yeah. And obviously if there's anything, I'm always open to edits if there's something missing.
That's great.
Yeah.
What about, are there other options, for videos besides YouTube? Resources for them?
For videos. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I will usually, I do searches like what kind of videos you're looking for.
I don't know, I'm just thinking, because, you know, we use YouTube obviously a lot to be able to watch, certainly to be able to watch videos, but I'm just wondering about other resources.
So in the public library, I'm going back to Tumble Books.
Oh, gotcha.
Public library is really nice National Geographic videos.
Okay.
There.
Oh, thank you.
They have a lot, and these are nice, just short videos to build background knowledge. They're really nice videos. Another website.
That's not Arthur.
That's not our- no, another website is called Epic Books. This might be him. This has a lot of books in it, including all the National Geographic kids books, and there's videos in here.
Okay.
Just a National Geographic magazine, sorry.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of videos in here. So this would be a good place to go. There's books, there are videos, you know, and it's got like a thing where you put in the age, the kids' preferences, and it pulls out books for you. And these are switch accessible, so kids can use the switch to turn the pages or start and stop the
Video. Oh, amazing.
We have, does Arthur like Elmo?
I don't know. He's Daniel Tiger obsessed.
Oh,
But I'm sure we're trying to get him to watch other things. And Elmo's been on the list.
okay.
Because he's, you know, we're getting tired of Daniel Tiger.
I know Daniel Tiger. It's so funny.
You don't know Daniel Tiger?
No.
You remember Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
Okay, so the tiger puppet is Daniel Tiger.
Oh
He
my
has a
God.
cartoon spin-off show.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Arthur? They play Daniel Tiger sometimes for Disney, like Daniel Tiger. So it's he has his own show
That's so funny. I didn't know.
with Trolley and Selena and Prince Wednesday. Everybody, they're all there. It's a cartoon, and he's obsessed. But we're trying to get him to watch it.
Well, check Get Epic, and they have read to me books where it will read to the kids.
Oh, amazing! Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And then we should talk to the therapist about
Switches.
switches, the
Yeah.
type of switches they're
Yeah.
using, and
What would be best for Arthur? Because I mean, he can use his hands, so
yeah,
what would be best for him? And you want to engineer it so he's not like playing with the wires and like how do you want it
Right.
mounted?
right. But he will pull on.
Yeah, yeah. You know what though? Once we've done this for other kids, once we've stabilized things down and made it impossible, the whole issue just goes away of like playing with the wires.
Mhm.
So once it's mounted right,
Mhm.
then it's not a non-issue.
Okay.
So if you want to come in and meet with me and Rebecca and even Leon, about Adrian, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
Coming back.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Friday, next week.
You want to make an appointment? How do you want to do it? Do you want to email Rebecca or, because she works with him every day instead of Leon. I see him twice a week. But I'd love to be involved when you come back in.
I'm gonna talk to the mother to see, she's probably gonna come. Yeah, we're gonna make an appointment.
And if you see some toys in the drugstore, just, take a picture and bring it and I'll see if I can adapt it.
Before buying it.
Yeah, take a picture. Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
But for now, he's using the head more than the
He's using both.
both.
And, he's much better at using the head. I mean, it depends. Like sometimes he's like on it with his head and sometimes he's on it with his arm and we're just trying to get him to do both. So, yeah.
Thank you.
He's done so well since he's been here.
No.
He really has.
I know.
He really has.
Anybody online? Anybody online have any questions? We're about to, I guess, wrap it up. Anybody?
How many people are on?
We had about 9 at one point.
Oh,
They're coming in and out. We've been between 7 and 9.
oh, good.
All right.
Yeah, I know my daughter was. He came home while she was.
Oh,
I don't know, I don't know if
yeah.
she's still in there. or
She
not.
is.
She is. Okay, great.
Okay.
Great. Awesome. Amazing. This is so good. I'm
Great.
gonna definitely reach out to the therapist.
Yeah.
And talk about other toys. I
Do
know
the
that-
Alexa. Look at the Alexa thing.
Yeah, and also we were talking about like the Mr. Potato Head and.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I will be emailing everything, the PowerPoint presentation, along with the handouts, the list of gift ideas, as well as what Gretchen spoke about in terms of the public library. So be on the lookout for my email with all this wonderful information, okay? So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Oh my God, he thinks parts are so hilarious. I'm already thinking about this.